Today we're going to talk about the Sage or Breville Barista Pro, this guy right here. Now this is kind of like the evolution of the Barista Express. This has got some upgraded features which makes it better and more ergonomic than the Barista Express, although there are pros and cons, and we will come to those towards the end of the video. And what I want to mention is that this particular machine is an updated model. You can see it says Barazza right here. So it's got the newer version of the Barazza burr in there that they sell in the ESP. So that's kind of a nice thing that they've updated the grinder burr on this model. They also include a clear funnel, which is nice for doing WDT. This is the funnel right here, by the way. So let's get on to the review. Why am I starting the review with the machine off? I'll show you why. Watch this. Already ready. This machine includes the ThermoJet Technology, which is really fast. It is more of a compressed kind of pancake shaped ThermoJet or thermal block technology that they have in there. What that offers is a really fast heat up time. It also offers a faster time to cool down that pancake shaped ThermoJet heater, which is a nice thing. What I've noticed with this machine is that it's not such a water hog. You know, when you have to cool down the ThermoJet after steaming, it doesn't use as much water as what it uses in the Barista Express, for example, and that's nice. That means that you have to empty this drip tray less often. So that is the first feature, the ThermoJet technology on this machine. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you can go ahead and pull a shot right away because this is cold. It doesn't get heated. So what I would suggest doing is running 1 or 2 shots without any coffee just to warm this up and get it up to a good temperature. And in the meantime, you can also warm up your cup by doing that. But let's talk about the rest of the features on this machine and why I like it. Here we're taking a look at the right side, and you've got a knob here. If you pull it backwards, then it goes to steaming. Otherwise, you get hot water, which reminds me, it's got a very nice hot water spout. The water tank comes with a filter, which is very good to avoid, hard water deposits in your machine. On the other side, you've got this knob here for adjusting your grind setting. And what's nice about the knob is actually it is stepless. It will show you on the display that you are anywhere between 1 and 30 grind settings, but that's just an encoder reading. You actually can feel that you are adjusting it without any steps, and that is a nice thing and certainly advantage over the original Barista Express. So why do I have a magnet on here? You'll notice this is stainless steel. It is magnetic, and there are varying degrees of stainless steel. It depends how it's comprised, whether or not it's magnetic. I do like the fact that it is magnetic because there are some tools that you can stick to the side, and that is a nice thing. What I really like about this one is, as you can see and it noticed, the water tank has a water sensor in there. So that is excellent, so that you don't start a shot and then have to abort midway because you run out of water. That's one of my main complaints about the Barista Express. Something else that I wanted to mention, and that I did, is that the water spout is also very nice. On the Barista Express and Express Impress model, it kind of sputters out of the top. It makes a big mess. This one, on the other hand, is much more clean in its stream. If you can see that, it's a nice clean stream of water without sputtering. The machine comes with the standard 54mm portafilter, and it's a really nice ergonomic portafilter. I quite enjoy this one. You can also get yourself a bottomless one, by the way. I've got one from Normcore. It's this one right here. We'll try an extraction with this later, and this is quite fun to use so that you can see your extractions. I don't know why Breville Sage never made their own version. I think that they would sell like hotcakes. One thing I want to point out about this machine is you're going to notice there's a display up here. It has advantages and disadvantages. Number one, it makes actually setting up the machine more intuitive because you can get to the settings more easily. But the big disadvantage is you lose a manometer. So anytime that you've got a digital display on any of these barista machines, you lose the manometer, which is quite unfortunate because I do like having a manometer. Otherwise, it would have been nice if they could have included some kind of digital reading here for the pressure. But I would say in the end, it does actually add more advantages than disadvantages. There is one more thing I'd like to mention, a big difference between this model and the previous ones. Any of these models that have the ThermoJet technology, which is the touch, which is this one, you can only do a pre-infusion maximum of 10 seconds. So that's kind of unfortunate. If you hold down either one of these buttons here, the 1 or the 2 cup button, you enter manual mode. And if you hold it down for 10 seconds, it will pre-infuse that whole time. The unfortunate thing is that's it, and then it will start with full pressure. Now, with the Barista Express and Express Impress, you could hold down the button up to 60 seconds and have as gentle of an extraction as you want with that pre-infusion. Before we go any further into the demo of this machine, there's one really big pro that I would like to mention with this machine, and that is the Steamwand. So the Steamwand is, first of all, much quicker into getting up to steam mode. And it's also got a really nice amount of power. That is a 4-hole tip, by the way, on the Steamwand, and I have gotten excellent results with it. So I would say right now, let's go ahead and make ourselves an espresso. Right now, I've got kind of like a darker roast in there. The nice thing is you can change the temperature very easily. So let's have a look at the settings menu now, how I would set this up. All right, so here's the HMI interface right here. It shows you the grind size. It shows you if you're using a double or a single shot. I always use the double. That's the amount of time it's going to grind for. Now, to get into the menu itself, just press the menu button and you start off with custom 1 cup. You can set the volumetric dose just by selecting it with the button there, and then you can start the shot by holding down the button, and as long as you hold it down, it will save the pre-infusion up to 10 seconds. Then you're going to stop it whenever you're finished with your volume that you want. You can do that for the 1 cup, you can do that for the 2 cup as well, or you can use the selector switch to get to the temperature, and that is the 3rd and last setting. Just press the button to select it, and what we're going to do is select anywhere between these temperatures. I'm going to put for this darker roast probably on the lower side of medium. Select that and we are good to go. Back to the main menu.
Getting value from this video? Please take a moment to like and subscribe.
Alrighty, so I would say now let's just go ahead and make an espresso. I always recommend to use a scale because when you're making an espresso, it's nice to have a recipe so you can try to repeat that. So what I'm going to do is tear out the scale. I'm going to put on my funnel here as well. I've got a WD-T tool as well, and I've got this new portafilter holder. That's kind of nice. So let's go ahead and do our grinding. Nearly forgot. We should warm up our portafilter first and our cup. Okay. All right, now let's do our grinding. Okay, so what did we get out of there? 15.8, that's pretty good. I'm aiming for 16.0 grams in this basket with this relatively dark roast. Now the grinder, I would say, some people complain that it's a little bit inconsistent. And of course, it does vary a bit, you know, from one shot to the next or one day to the next. You know, you might get 15.8, you might get 16.2. There is, of course, some tolerance there. So anyway, I have done my distribution. Now I'm gonna go ahead, give it a nice tamp, like so, and let's see what kind of extraction we get. Now again, I'm gonna weigh this. I've got 16 grams in, and really the ballpark figure is to go for then 32 grams out. That would be twice the yield of your input, but of course you can vary that. You can do a little bit less than that. If you want a more pungent shot, you can do more than that if you want it to be a little bit more bitter. But let's just do that for the sake of the video, a 2-to-1 ratio. And what I'm going to do, because I find that it makes the shots a little bit more well-rounded, is I am going to hold down the manual button to get 10 seconds of pre-infusion and then let it go. Then I've got to stop it when I reach my desired dose.
All right, so you'll notice while I'm holding this button down that the pre-infusion doesn't engage the pump right away, and therefore it doesn't start the shot clock until the pump engages. Keep in mind also that when you do such a long pre-infusion, that it will most likely cause the flow rate throughout the rest of the extraction to be pretty quick as the puck has been fully saturated. And there's our shot right there. We're aiming for a 2-to-1 ratio or 32 grams.
And what I do like very much is the fact that it's got a shot counter on there, so you know how long it took. So that is the espresso right there. I am using Lavazza Super Crema. These beans are about 3 months old, so they are a little bit on the old side. Let's see how it tastes. I'm supposed to taste toasted hazelnut, brown sugar. I don't get that much sweetness. It's certainly more on the bittersweet chocolate side, and yeah, just a little bit of bitterness in general. And I think that is because the roast is kind of dark. But I have gotten good results with varying beans with this machine, but you have to play with the temperature and you got to play with the dose a bit. I would say let's do one thing. Let's increase the temperature and let's do a light roast. Menu, move over and all the way up to the top. Excellent. All right, for the light roast, I am going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to use this DF54. The reason being that, well, I already got beans in here, so what are you going to do? Just for fun, what we're going to do is put it in this bottomless portafilter, just so we can see how it looks coming out. I dosed 16 grams in here, by the way. 16 grams of pretty light roast coffee. The tamper does leave a little bit to be desired. I do like the fact that it's got a parking spot up here, so you always know where it's at. Because you'll see, like this, there's quite a bit of espresso powder on the edges. With the 53.3 from Normcore, you don't have that. Here it is. I found it. So if I give that a tamp, then I get a cleaner basket. So here we go. Let's see what this looks like and tastes like. So these are much fresher beans here. These are only about 3 or 4 weeks old, and that does help to lend to an extraction that takes a bit longer. You see dripping through here. Now with the other beans that I was using before, the darker ones, they are older, and that makes them certainly a much faster extraction. Kind of hard to dial in, to be honest. Alrighty. Okay, there is our light roast shot right there. You can actually see, especially for it being like a medium to light roast, it's got a fair amount of crema on there. That's only 100% Arabica, so that's kind of impressive. Let's give that a stir and a taste. Oh, it's quite interesting. This does a much better job than does the Bambino Plus, which also has the ThermoJet technology. And the reason is you can raise the temperature on this one. So instead of getting just a really sour shot, you actually get a nice acidity. You get a bit of sweetness. In this case, it's leaning a little bit or reminding me a little bit of tangerine. Yeah, maybe like orange peel. It's a really tasty shot, and I'm happy to report that this machine can raise the temperature high enough to be able to extract something like that. And it's also pretty steady. I've measured the temperature on here before with both the lower temperature setting and the higher temperature setting, and they hold it within a pretty good range, considering that this is a ThermoJet or thermoblock machine. Go. Alright, so here we go. I'm doing a couple of temperature tests. On the left, I am starting from the second to the lowest setting, and on the right, the second from the highest setting. And I just want to see kind of how steady are we. You can see that we are remaining within a range, both on the left and on the right side. Do also keep in mind that my temperature probe reads about 4 degrees too low. So you need to add about 4 degrees to the temperatures.
2 to 1.
But yeah, they're pretty steady.
Okay, 2 to 1 ratio right there.
Now really, the star of the show for me with this machine is the Steamwand, because you can really steam great with it. So let's do that. Let's steam ourselves some milk and make a cappuccino. I just kind of wanted to do another shot here. I'm looking to get a slightly shorter ratio, like 1.75 to 1, because I find out that does actually help to make the latte art a little bit easier. Alright, so in the meantime, I've pulled myself another shot there. I'm filling this up to about this level, just underneath the nose. This comes with the machine, by the way. And let's go to town. Let's purge first. So you can hopefully see that it's got really a lot of power to get a vortex going. You just gotta keep the tip off to one side into a lower quadrant, and you'll get that milk churning really well. What I wish it had a counter here while you're steaming. That would be nice. So you just heard it cool itself down there, and that cooling process does not take very long with this ThermoJet, and therefore it's not such a water hog, which is nice. You can see that is a really nice creamy milk that it was able to make. I really have to concentrate on my pour when I'm doing that, which is why I can't really talk at the same time, and it's also hard to do it under the camera. So, but you'll see the result here. Looks decent. A bit of an asymmetric heart there, but you can see the milk is very creamy, very delicious. I just love that creamy texture that you can get with a good Steamwand. And how does it taste? Delightful. Creamy milk, silky, just a delightful texture for the tongue. Very nice cappuccino there. Okay, so now we have gone through a demo of the machine. We've made a normal dark roast, a light roast, a cappuccino. The machine does a good job. But you gotta ask yourself, what are the pros and cons? How is this better or worse than the Barista Express, for example? Because they're in a similar price range. For me, this has the really ergonomic advantages. Much better steam wand. It's quicker to get to steam mode. It's quicker to power up itself. It's got the really nice sensor here for the water. It's got an upgraded burr design in the grinder. It's less of a water hog. It's got an intuitive display. You can change the temperature on the Barista Express too, but you gotta first turn it off, and then you need a certain button combination while you're turning it on just to change the temperature. This one, you just press the button, move 2 spots on the menu, and you're already at the temperature. So that's really nice. On the other hand, where the Barista Express really gets extra points for me is, first of all, after some time, the brew group gets heated. After about 20-30 minutes, it starts actually heating itself, which is really nice, and that lends to more of a, for me, a little bit better extraction. This one does not heat itself. The second thing, of course, is the fact that with the Barista Express, you can hold down the button as long as you want and keep that pre-infusion pressure 10, 20, 30 seconds so you can experiment for longer. And that's a nice advantage. And finally, as a third point, the Barista Express has a manometer, which is really nice to be able to see what pressure that you're at. With all that being said, I think they're both good choices, but if you really want to practice your latte art, this one is certainly the one for you. If you want to use light roasts, I would also suggest this one. On the other hand, if you'd like to save a little money, you can also go for the Barista Express. It's really kind of hard to go wrong with these two models, in my opinion. Oh, and finally, we talked about accessories. This 54mm bottomless from Normcore, super sweet. I got an IMS basket in there. I got this new portafilter holder from Normcore. I got this sweet Time More scale, which is really nice. This nice 53.3mm tamper from Normcore, which is sweet, and a WDT tool. These things, you don't necessarily need them. If I was gonna choose one, I would take certainly the scale. You need it for your recipes. Next, I would take this guy so that you can see your extractions. Third, I would take the WDT really to distribute it better. Fourth, I would take this tamper. It's just a little bit nicer. And fifth, I would take this guy. Thanks very much for watching the video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, give it a thumbs down. Whatever the case, until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy cappuccino drinking. Bye now.